had my journey planned when I was a little girl. Whenever I was asked what I wanted to be, he would automatically and proudly say, "Of course, a doctor," as if it was the only logical field to study. In a country where there were a handful of female doctors, instead of being offended for the lack of opportunity to choose for myself, I found this to be intimidating, a bit of a stretch, and a call for challenge. Little did I knew the foresight and the logic behind pushing someone to be better, to excel at what they do, and to develop the maturity to understand the impact of their success on their fellow human beings. He would always remind me to aim high and to believe in myself. By the time I finished high school, I had learned to stand my ground and knew that I was able and deserving and felt connected. I always took this as the only reality. And at the end of medical school, it was clear to me that one has to be whatever makes that person happy. So choosing to specialize in neurosurgery was logical because I loved neurosurgery. And being the first female neurosurgeon was a historic coincidence which sadly said more about the country than I. But at the same time, I understood that through my achievements, I was lifting everyone else. I reminded myself of a quote from Paulo Coelho, the alchemist. When we strive to become better than we are, everything around us becomes better too. Then the day-to-day reality sneaks in, and it was not long before I noticed that working at a public hospital with extended hours drained my energy and the will to do more. I started to question why I was there, why this field, for what did I work so hard and sacrifice so much? And then I would look at a patient who is perhaps a mother, a father, a kind, desperate face that reminds me who I am. I would love to say this empathy arose from selflessness or self-sacrifice and list reasons like I am there to give hope, to be an instrument of healing and to inspire. But that was not the case. Actually, it was for a very selfish reason. How, you may ask? You see, I was introduced to a concept by Eckhart Tolle, which simply stated at the deepest level of being, you are one with all that is, and was desperately trying to practice. So in simple terms, I had to start to see myself in everyone who received the service that I provided, which as any great idea is easy said than practiced. What is selfishness, you might ask? It is to be motivated by concern for one's self-interest. The selfishness which arises from this understanding puts the provider at a unique position of being one with the receiver of the service. What is the most consistent behavior of any human being, you may ask? It is self-preservation and self-service. This knowledge and the desperate trial to put it into practice allows me to reason and forget the long hours, the hunger, the lack of medical instruments, and the pain I endured from standing long hours in the operating room. Because at the end of the day, I am serving myself. Can you imagine a world where everyone knows and practices this knowledge? A world without pseudo-sacrifice? I'm glad to admit that this selfishness in me drives the need to grow, to serve better, grow academically, spiritually, and improve my surgical skills fast. Throughout my career, I used every opportunity to grow in my field. By taking part in training opportunities in Ethiopia and traveled from Norway in the north to South Africa in the south and Korea and China in the east. When the need arose to establish and lead a neurosurgical unit, I struggled. I struggled to lead and build a team spirit among individuals who at heart think and hope to achieve similar goals, but are significantly influenced by their different experiences and different motivations. I learned a lot from conflicts of interest that occurred among them, and differences in motivation, but I still struggle to balance clinical work with leadership roles and sustain the team spirit. So I understood I was lacking in leadership skills, and hence my joining the Mandela Washington Fellowship for young African leaders. What is my vision, you may ask? Where do I see myself in 10 years? I see myself growing academically, participating in clinical research, running my own hospital, and pushing myself to excel. But most importantly, I see young, selfish, humble servant from Africa who not only understand selfishness as a virtue, but practice it to the best of my ability. Finally, I would like to end my speech with my hero, Dr. Angelo's quote, "When you know better, you do better."